again. So in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to transform a headlight which looks exactly like that into a modified headlight which will end up like so. If you see the clip before the video starts, you can see what we're expecting to get from this and what outcome we're looking for. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to split the headlight open. I previously showed you how to do this before. After a little bit of feedback, which is greatly appreciated, I'm going to show you a easy way to do it. Very much the same as what I was doing to start with, but this time it is a whole lot quicker. So let's get on that now. So again, 3 screws. So we'll just take the first screw out. We've got another screw which is living down here. And then the final screw is at the bottom. There we go. Now hopefully this will be the last video you see, and that's videoed in my man cave. I'm currently building a shed, so next lot of videos should have a lot better lighting and certainly more space to work on. So just bear with me for the limited space that I've got and probably the poor camera angle we've got at the moment, so we'll be working on that for the next one. So what I'm going to do is just take the bulbs out that are in there. Got a couple in there. Indicator bulb would normally come down in this section. It's already been removed. Then all we're going to do is grab the trusty heat gun and heat all the way around the edges. So standard heat gun, just with the nozzle on, and I'm just going to heat all around the edges. Going to keep a uniform amount of heat going through the whole of the edge all the way around. Just keep moving as you work it. Pay a bit closer attention to the ends where there's a lot more glue in. You'll just need a little bit more heat. If you can see any glue that has come out of the seams when it's been pressed in originally from the factory, you'll soon see it melt, and it'll give you an idea of how quickly it melts as well. You see, I'm just working around the whole light, not spending too much time in one place. Just softening the glue as we go around. When I've tried this the first time, doing a different way of splitting it open, it appears the time to go around and get all the glue softened up before you start attempt to open it. So as per the last video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on this corner with the trusty old knife and just start working some of that glue to try and get it out. and just try and break some of the seal in there as we go. Remember, you've got tabs running down all the sides. Just make sure they're loosened as you move along. So now I'm going to start work on this corner. And again, just heating up a little bit before you then get the knife in to try and start working it around. And once you feel you've got enough off, it's to try and just break the top seal. So all I'm doing is pulling the back end away from the lens. You can see how easily the knife goes through because you've got all the glue nice and soft. Okay, so tops come away quite nicely, as you can see. So I'm just going to heat for the last time all the way around the line.
And then just pry the light open as we go, making sure the clips are off. Okay, so make sure all these are unclipped. I know which spare it is for the light.
And what you'll see is the light will just pop open. And because you've heated it all the way around, it just comes open in one fell swoop. And then you're left with the lens. So thank you, Matt, for showing me that tip, and it does save a lot of time. Next thing is to get rid of the insert. So we're just going to take 2 screws out. Then just grab the top of the insert and clip from both sides. If you release it from the top, hopefully just pops straight out. So that's what we're left with. So initially this is what I would sort of work on now. The lens and headlight is very apart. The next thing is to start looking at the insert. So I've painted them gloss black in the lights. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the silver part. There's 3 tabs to it. And all we're doing is just bending the 3 tabs back and then just pushing the metal, pull it through gently. It's very flexible, the tabs on it, to try not to bend it too much so it goes back in. And that has left with this. Now, this is where we're going to fit a halo in this part, and it fits quite nicely in here. So I've got an example of what one would look like and where it would fit. So that's exactly where we're looking at putting it. What you can see is the two wires that come from the halo itself don't really fit that well. So what I do is I'll take the multi-tool, let me grab, and just basically put a groove in this part here. Just a little groove in there, into the plastic. So what happens is when you pop the halo in, the wires fall into the groove and it sits nice and flush against the lens where it would be. So pretend that's all painted now and halo's been fitted, and I'll show you exactly what that looks like. So Blue Peter style, here's what I did earlier. As you can see, gloss black, halo's been fitted. Insert the back where it's been drilled, just a little gap, and then slot it back in. Metal's been put back on and it sits nice and flush in there. So that's the finished insert that you'll be looking for to that. So at this point this is finished, so I can put that away. Next thing I want to be doing is with these headlights is they'll be getting fitted with demon eyes. So for those that don't know what demon eyes are, basically it's a strip of LED lights controllable from your smartphone. I guess you can control them from your Android radio with an app as well. And they are pretty funky. They've already been installed in the other set of these. So what I'm going to do is show you how I installed them, where I installed them. They're going to go in here. So there's two screws either side. So I'm going to take these two screws out. We get another screwdriver bit, that's the correct size. These two screws hold on the metal ring, so you can see the metal ring comes off. And then what you're left with is the glass projector which fits in. Can be a bit tricky to get out. Be careful because sometimes these do chip around the outer edge, so watch your fingers when you're pulling these out, and certainly watch it for any glass that might be contained. So I can see some glass in here, so I'm just going to tip this into the bin. And that leaves this part here that you can see is where the headlight, the demon eyes are going to go. So there's another screw, two screws on the back as well. Don't know if you can see in there. There's a screw in there and one on the other side. So I'm just going to take those two screws out. Okay, so the screw's starting to loosen now. Okay, so take the screw out. This gives you access to the back where the projector is. then we can see into the projector itself, and that's where we're going to be fitting these. So let me fit these and I will demonstrate how I fitted them when we come back. Okay, very quick to fit. Let's see the best angle to see them. So you can see the lights are in there. All I've done is I've literally turned them into a circle on themselves, and to fit nice and snug inside with the cables hanging out. So what you need to do now is you need to use some metal aluminium tape, and all you need to do is to cut a little piece of this off to seal up the little hole that's in the projector front itself. And now you don't have to do this, and I think it only affects it if you're using like high powerful bulbs. And you can see the hole just there I'm trying to cover up. I'm just going to pop some of this foil on it. I'll show you covered up where the foil is. And that just stops any abnormal images, or UFO and they call it. If you do put any high performance bulb in, or you know, increase lighting in there. So once you've done that, you can now pop the back on. There's labelled top at the bottom, so you don't get it mixed up which way around it goes. Then just pop them 2 screws back in that you removed. The hand on to try and get them in, because I think that angle's a bit funny on these. So there's 1 screw in, and then again move on to the other side and pop the other screw in that side. It's a bit fiddly to try and get them back to where they were, but shouldn't have too much problem. So there we are, it's in. All I've done is I've jammed the cables through, and what I will do is I'll run some metal tape around the outside of this as well, so there's no light leaking out. So let me do that, I'll come back to you. There we are, metal tape, just literally being run around the outside just to close any gap that might possibly be there. And it's just a case of put the projector glass in, pop the holder back on, and then just replace the screws. That hold that on. Demonize fitted. So as we stand now, we've got the halos in the inserts, we've got demonize fitted in the headlight itself. The only last thing that we've got to then do with this is to put the LED strips in. So for these particular headlights, the LED strip is only wanting to run from, so I'll get in the shot bottom corner to around this area. As you can see from the finished one. So it's only running from there to around about there. So I'm going to do exactly the same with the one that I've got to go into this light. What I have done is I've kept the offcut of the old LED, so I know exactly where to cut and the length I need to cut at. So I'm just going to open this up. So we're going to take the ends off, both sides. And these are glued in. Yeah, so it's a case of breaking the glue without breaking the LED. So I kind of just get my fingernail in there just to pull away some of the LED covering at the end on both sides to make sure it's free. And then exactly the same on this side. Just be careful with this side because this is where the wires go into the control board in the LED strip. Okay, just get in there, give it a loose around, just to see if you can free it up a little bit. And it should start to move once it's free. I'm just pulling the wires to try and get the strip out. Don't pull it too hard, because the last thing I want to do is to pull any of the wires out or damage the circuit board itself. Okay, so managed to get the LED strip out, as you can see. Just gonna plug it in just to make sure nothing's been damaged and it's still working fine. Looks good. And indicators. Okay, looks good. Yeah, so once you get them out, you can see the LEDs are in strips. And what you can do is you can cut these LEDs down. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the LED housing, which I know needs to be cut down, and I'm just going to cut the same amount off it on one side as I did for the original, so I know what length I need to be bringing it down to. So that's our strip, and we'll just check that against the light, so you can see that's exactly where we're looking for it to be compared to the other one. And all you want to do is feed your LEDs back through. Bear in mind that when you feed them back through, the actual light output itself faces up to the blue strip. Just going to push these all the way through. Just again, being gentle when you're doing this. You don't want to break anything. Okay, that's the part to cut. So these are in blocks of 3. So I can easily just cut through that. So what I've done is trim down the LED strip by 3 LEDs at a time. So you can easily trim by 3, which keeps it working. Test it after each one, I did, just to make sure that this still worked. So they're literally all good to go, and as you can see, put them back in the strip with the LED bulbs themselves facing up towards the blue strip. And once they're in, hot glue either side, seal them in, and they're ready to be installed in the lens itself. So what I've also done is, while I sprayed the insert, I've also sprayed the indicator covers as well. So all they do is snap on like that. Then when you assemble the whole headlight back, these aren't as noticeable when you put everything back together, so it gives it a nice finish towards the end of the light. So what I'm going to do now is just assemble everything back together, and then I'll show you where the cables come out and give you some advice on how to fit the demonizer into your car. So I've got the headlight back all together now. Over it's been cleaned, it's been re-glued, it's been resealed. And then I've just drilled a hole into the headlight itself from the back and run all the wires through. So we've got the LED strip wires, we've got the demon eye wires, and we've got the halo wires all coming through in one convenient place, ready to connect up into the car. It's quite simple to wire up. The two demon eyes are linked by a control unit. So one will go to one headlight, one will go to the other. There's ample wire to go between the two. And now I recommend putting these on a separate switch. They're not road legal to have on while driving, so you really want them controllable separately. One of the options is to wire them directly into your front fog lights. So, you know, if you're at a show or, you know, you're parked up and you want to use them, it's a case you can just switch them on from the inside on your dashboard and pop your fog lights on and your demon eyes will come on without your headlights coming on itself. The other way to do it is to run an independent switch through, which is possibly a good idea, so you don't have to have your fog lights on. Or, you know, you could, I guess you could technically disable your fog lights and run them straight through that so your fog lights don't come on, but I think I prefer the second option is an independent supply, a 12 volt switch to run through and control them like that.